Everybody, please come in and find your seats.
Hashem l'kol, Tov Hashem l'kol, Tov Hashem l'kol.
If everyone can please clear the aisles.
Tov Hashem l'kol, Tov Hashem l'kol, Tov Hashem l'kol.
We ask everyone to please find their seats and clear the center aisle. Everybody, please find your seats and clear the center aisle.
Good morning, happy Father's Day. If I can please ask everyone to kindly silence their cell phones. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the administration and faculty of the Stella K. Abraham High School for Girls. Please join me in welcoming the graduating class of 2024 of the Stella K. Abraham High School for Girls. Graduates, please remain standing. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthems, followed by the recitation of Tehillim by Rabbi Zakatinsky.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning. Please remain standing. It goes without saying the last 24 hours have not been easy, with 10 soldiers being killed. But with a room of over 1,000 people here, our tefillos will make it to the other side of the ocean. If I can ask everybody to please say each and every pasuk with me responsively, that would be greatly appreciated. Lamnatzeach mizmar leDavid. Yancha Adonai b'yom tzara, Yisagev Hashem Elahei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezracha mikodesh, u'mitzion yisadeka. Yizkar kol minchosecha, v'yolascha yidash nesela. Yitein lecha kilvavecha, v'chol atzascha yimalei. Niranav Yeshuasecha, v'shem Eloheinu nidgol, yimalei Adonai kol mishalosecha. Ata yadati ki Oshi Adonai Meshicha, Yaneu mishmei kodsho, b'gvuros yesha yamino. Eile bareche ve'eile basusim, v'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazkir. Heima karu v'nafalu, v'anachnu kamenu v'nisodot. Adonai Hoshia Melech Yaneinu B'yom Kareinu.
Please be seated. I would like to introduce the dais. My name is Stephen Botnick. To my left, Mrs. Elisheva Kamenetsky, head of school, Mrs. Bluma Drebin, principal, Mrs. Alana Flamerhoff, associate principal, Mrs. Shira Englander, dean of students, Mrs. Sandy Pomerantz, assistant administrator, and Rabbi Yosef Zakatinsky, director of student programs. To my right, Mr. Lance Hurt, chairman of the board of trustees, Rabbi Yisrael Kamenetsky, Rosh HaYeshiva and Menahel of DRS, Mrs. Adrian Mitten, executive director, and Mrs. Zahavet Mandelbaum and Mrs. Bonnie Sicklick, cult chairman of SKA Parent Council. Absent for a family simcha is Mrs. Abby Miller, associate principal. We wish her a heartfelt mazel tov. At this point, I would like to introduce our salutatorians, Elizabeth Naiman and Eliza Tokayer, to come give their address.
Good morning, esteemed Rebbeim, teachers, guests, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. I'm honored to stand here as one of the two salutatorians of the graduating class of 2024. This year, in Chumash class, we were tasked with creating a shir based on our relationship in Sefer Bereshit. I chose to focus on Yaakov and Yosef and discussed how their separation affected their relationship. I used Mefarshim to contrast their relationship before their separation and after it, and concluded that their relationship changed to a much more mature relationship after their separation. During Yosef's childhood, he and Yaakov shared a close bond centered around the time they spent together and their shared learning. After their separation, however, we see the development of a foundation of deep respect for each other. I questioned whether this change in the foundation of their relationship was due to their separation in general, or whether it was due to the fact that it is human nature to mature as time passes, and the changing nature of their relationship could be attributed to the developing maturity of both individuals. My research led to a realization that I think really applies to all of us graduating today. Distance does not mean that a separation has to end. Although Yaakov and Yosef were separated for such a long time, their relationship didn't suffer. In fact, it actually grew. This was because of the effort they put into maintaining their relationship. We are all about to move forward in life. Whether we are on our way to Israel, college, or embarking on any other path, we are going to be facing major transitions in our everyday lives. We may not see our best friends every day. Many of us will be physically distant from our families. It may be difficult to stay connected to the teachers who have held our hands through our high school years. Maintaining relationships may be difficult. However, difficult does not mean impossible. It is up to us to put in the effort to maintain these relationships. Distance does not mean that we have to let any relationship that we treasure run its course. We need to remember to stay connected to everything we have learned these past 4 years, the relationships we've created with the SKA faculty, and the connections we've built with each other. Do not let separation and distance get in the way of the beautiful relationships that we all have built over the last 4 years. Maintain them, learn from them, and keep them with you as you move forward in life. Thank you so much. Mazel tov to the class of 2024.
Bruchim Habayim, and welcome all to the graduation of the class of 2024. Rabbi Huda Halevi, in his famous philosophical writing, the Kuzari, describes the Jewish people as one body. As is self-evident, with a fully functioning, healthy body, each part has a specific role to play, and each is integral to the continued health and development of the body. The heart pumps blood, but cannot do so if the lungs are not oxygenating the blood. The lungs cannot oxygenate the blood if the nose cannot properly breathe. Additionally, when one part of the body is in pain, it does not solely affect that region. Your heart rate can become elevated, your breathing can become more rapid, your blood pressure may increase. This does not happen because these systems were directly attacked, rather because the body acts as one whole. So too, the Kuzari says, the Jewish people. When one Jew does an act of chesed, of kindness, the entire Jewish people benefit. When there is one Jew in pain or in danger, all Jews suffer. Over the course of the past 8 months, it has become abundantly clear that what happens to Jews 7,000 miles away from us has a direct impact on our lives. As the dog tag that many of us wear daily says, Halev shelanu shavoi be'aza, our heart is captive in Gaza. Our heart singular, not our hearts plural. As Rabbi Yehuda Halevi says, the Jewish people comprise one whole body. It is only when we function together that we can heal our heart. However, together does not mean the same. Each person in Am Yisrael has unique talent, unique purpose that helps actualize the potential of the nation. Without that individual contribution, the nation, the body of the Jewish people, would not be pure and complete. My fellow graduates, we have just spent 4 years at SKA, 4 years during which the value of contributing to Am Yisrael was continuously impressed upon us. 4 years during which our teachers, principals, and friends have guided us and helped us become the people we are today with the tools we have today. The tools to identify our unique strengths and use them to contribute to a greater whole. As we embark on the next leg of our journey, I hope we can all remember we are each vital to the success and continuation of the Jewish people. I hope we can all remember to use our individual strengths, not only for our benefit, but for the benefit of our people as a whole. We are all needed. Finally, I'd like to thank the entire SK administration, teachers, and faculty for the valuable 4 years they have given us. I'd like to thank all of our parents for giving us the opportunity to learn and grow and supporting us throughout our entire lives. And lastly, thank you to all of my friends and classmates with whom I have made incredible memories and learned valuable lessons. Mazal tov.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Eliza. At this point, I'd like to call on our head of school, Mrs. Elisheva Kamenetsky, to address our graduates.
Bereshus, Rabbanim, members of the dais, esteemed faculty and colleagues, parents, grandparents, and guests. Dear graduates, Zeh Hayom, today is the day. Asa Hashem, that Hashem has orchestrated. Nagila v'nismecha bo. We will rejoice and celebrate. At times of simcha, we pause and reflect on how much we have to be thankful for and to whom we are grateful. First and foremost, to the Rabbonu Sha'olam, for everything we do and accomplish in life is due to his kindness and the brachot he showers upon us. Zeh hayom asa Hashem. The experiences we have and the people who we have met that make an impact on our lives is due to his hashgacha. For all of this and more, ein anachnu maspikim lahodot lecha Hashem. As I begin to acknowledge the people that make SK Halb the special place that it is, today's graduation marks a significant day for me, Rabbi Kamenetsky, and our family. I stand here not just representing the SK faculty and administration, but as a parent. Today marks the conclusion of a 27-year chapter in our lives as Halb parents. All of our children have been educated at Halb, and our youngest child is graduating SKA today. Our family has been the recipients of the incredible love and dedication of both our faculty and lay leaders who give countless hours beyond their call to duty for the sake of all of our children. I share this because I represent all of the parents here in sharing deep hakarat hatov to all who lend the support and lay the foundation for Halb. The board of directors of Halb, led by our chairman of the board, Mr. Lance Hurt, mazel tov to you and Rifki on Rachel's graduation, and our president, Mr. Stephen Botnick. Your commitment and dedication to excellence helps us continue to provide a cutting-edge educational experience in Limudei Kodesh and general studies for our girls with new opportunities available every year. Mrs. Drebin and I rely on your wisdom, experience, and your unwavering support of SKA and its mission. A very special thank you to Mrs. Tammy Rudinsky, our SKA Board Liaison. We could not manage without your partnership, friendship, support, and advice. We appreciate your willingness to drop everything for us, no matter the hour of the day, night, or early hours of the morning. Mr. Ari Ellenberg has been a dedicated board member and a tremendous advocate for all that takes place at SKA. Ari, for the last 6 years, we've benefited from your wisdom and broad vision. Thank you for your time and commitment to SKA. We wish you and Rachel Mazel Tov on Shira's graduation this morning. There are a lot of details that go into running a school on a day-to-day basis. We thank our executive director, Mrs. Adrienne Mitten. Adrienne, we all note your care and concern to move our yeshiva forward, to offer the best possible for all of our students. We thank you for all that you do for SKA and HALB. Thank you to Mr. Chaim Hollander, Assistant Executive Director, for all of your daily help and support, especially in setting up this graduation and its many details. Thank you to Mr. Nachi Cooper for your help in putting together today's graduation and helping maintain our physical structures. We thank Rabbi Kamenetsky and Rabbi Englinger, who are our sounding boards, our advisory council, and our fellow collaborators. Thank you to Mrs. Bonnie Siklik and Mrs. Avit Mandelbaum, chairs of the SK Parent Council. We thank you both for your dedication and leadership. When I think about what makes the unique and special atmosphere at SKA, it is due to its extraordinary faculty and staff. Each person cares, inspires, encourages, nurtures, and works hard for each and every student. Their dedication knows no bounds. Thank you for all that you do for our daughters when they are in SKA and beyond. None of us would get through a single day without our dedicated office staff. You are the backbone for all that we do. Mrs. Idella Goldenberg, Mrs. Alyssa Grumbaum, Mrs. Aileen Melman, Mrs. Leah Solomon. To Frankie and our entire maintenance staff, thank you for tending to our every need as you help maintain our facilities and help transition our spaces from a davening space to a lunchroom to an assembly location to production space, all in the span of a few hours. Mrs. Drebin and I consider it a privilege and are honored to work with each and every faculty and staff member. Join me in a round of applause to pay tribute to these remarkable people. The SKA administration are the people who your teachers and students turn to for support. Mrs. Drebin and I gain from our collaboration with you and your knowledge and expertise. Ms. Alana Flamenhaft, Associate Principal. You are always available to staff and students alike, welcoming them with your warmth and trademark wit. We are so appreciative of your dedication and hard work. Mrs. Abby Miller, Associate Principal, Mazel Tov on your family simcha today. You are a welcome addition to our team, aligned with the SK mission of caring for each student. You add energy, enthusiasm, and your talents, needle pointing in particular, to school every day. Mrs. Sandy Pomerantz, we value your wisdom and professionalism. Your sense of Yashrus is well known and sets a standard for everyone at SKA. Mrs. Shira Englinger, your calm demeanor, coupled with your warmth and smile, help carry us through each day. We each learn from your dedication and commitment to our school. Rabbi Yosef Zakatinsky, you work tirelessly on school programming to ensure that the girls have meaningful events throughout the year that are the true spice of the SKA experience. Your advice and perspective are greatly appreciated and help us on a daily basis. Finally, to the parents of our graduates, we thank you for entrusting us with your children. It has been a privilege to partner with you in the growth and chiduch of our daughters. To our graduates, as I look at each and every one of you, the class of 2024 and its individual graduates stand for all of us your parents and teachers, as prime examples of the potential that lies within and the growth trajectory that we can achieve in a given chapter of our lives. Graduations and other milestones in our lives are markers or bookends for the chapters in our lives. The 4 years of high school are a chapter in your lives that bridge childhood and adulthood. These years were full of considerable growth and development in every area for each of you. Ze hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismecha bo. Today is truly a simcha, because as Rav Hirsch explains in Tehillim, the words lismoach and litzmoach are related. We are happy when we are growing, changing, developing. To remain stagnant and complacent encourages satisfaction with the status quo. It is not the birthplace of creativity and advancement, and it does not breed happiness. Today, we celebrate the growth that has taken place during your 4 years at SKA, your chapter between the bookends of freshman orientation and today's graduation. In this week's Parsha, Bahalotcha, there is the unusual phenomenon of the backwards nuns, 2 psukim in the middle of Parshat Bahalotcha that are separated by these unusual symbols. Vayhi ben Soa Haron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Hashem, Vayafutsu Aivecha, Vayanusu Misonecha Mipanecha, Ubenocho Yomar Shuva Hashem, Rivavot Alfei Yisrael. Chazal teach us that the nuns are bookends, and that these psukim are a chapter unto themselves. The Gemara even suggests that they should be considered one of the Chumshei Torah, so that Bamidbar is actually made up of 3 distinct sections: before these psukim, after these psukim, and the psukim themselves, bringing the total number, if you can say this, of Chumshei Torah up from 5 to 7. Rashi suggests that the backwards down nuns serve as a form of parentheses to separate and divide between challenging experiences that Bnei Israel had in the Midbar. They are in an oasis in the middle of difficult times. When I think about it, that is also a way that one might describe the span of time between your introduction to high school and your graduation. Your high school experience was bookended by world events that were beyond anyone's imagination and were truly unprecedented in your and my lifetime. You entered SKA as freshmen with masks and temperature checks at the height of COVID. On the other end, not a day went by in your senior year post-October 7th that we did not work harder to connect to Achenu B'nai Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael in light of the ongoing pain and trauma that the Jewish people are experiencing. What was between these bookends of historic significance? It's your growth and accomplishments that we celebrate today. You have learned that we grow from challenges as a nation and as individuals, that hard work can leave us feeling good and purposeful, that awkward and uncomfortable situations can be the gateway to rich relationships, that learning about other people and developing our empathy for those we have never met before can be an enriching experience, that our authentic, sincere tefillot and acts of kindness can mean the world to people who are culturally different than we are, and that 6,000 miles does not have to feel so far away when you are a member of Am Yisrael. You have learned that not a single day, even a day of celebration and simcha, like your graduation day, can go by without remembering the Tsar of Klal Yisrael. As I watched your processional and each of you marching into your graduation, I thought of the 10 levayot, one of which I had the opportunity and zchut to watch just before graduation, taking place in Eretz Yisrael today, for those who have given their lives for us and our precious land. As SKA graduates, you have walked down the aisle today knowing of your responsibility to continue their mission with your love of Am Yisrael, Torah Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael. The Torah interrupts the story of challenging times in Sefer Bamidbar and makes bookends of the challenges. In between, the Torah reminds us that while life will always have its challenging moments, we are to remember a lesson that is so important that it's worthy of its own chapter. That lesson is that Hashem is with us as we travel through life, Vayhi b'nsoa ha'aron, whether it's a smooth ride or stormier seas, and we carry the Torah with us as we navigate life. My hope for you is that when you look back on high school, you will never forget the challenging times and the lessons and growth opportunities they brought, but you will also draw strength from the chapter of your life written between the challenging times. You will remember 291 Meadowview as the place we call home, with teachers and faculty who were there to support you and help you grow into the graduate you are today. During the 4 years of high school, your teachers have tried to not just transmit information, but give you tools for life. They've shown you how to carry the Torah with you as you navigate your role in the future with your family, your profession, and your community. When we taught lessons in the class, they carried messages to apply outside the classroom, to be Jews that carry the Torah lessons with you at all times. Just as you've drawn on the help from Hashem and your parents, teachers, and friends to write this beautiful high school chapter of your life, the road ahead is yours to chart. At times it will be bumpy, and at other times it will be smooth sailing. Know that SKA will always be your home. We will always be there for you. SKA, B'Lev Echad. Our hearts are with you, no matter how far or how great the distance. Please stay connected with us to share both your struggles and triumphs. Your growth inspires us, and we believe in you. We look forward to seeing what you each accomplish in the next chapter of your life. Be'ezrat Hashem. Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Mrs. Kamenetsky. I would like to call upon our principal, Mrs. Bluma-Drebin, to introduce our Keter Shem Tov awardees, Molly Fuchs and Eliana Zachter.
It is often said that graduation is the last formal instruction. I would like to share one last lesson with the class of Tuf Shin Pei Daled. In the April issue of Commentary magazine, Rav Meir Soloveitchik wrote of a famous story that occurred during World War II. He quoted from a book titled Persuasion, A Revolutionary Way to Influence and Persuade, by psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini. In the book, Dr. Cialdini highlights the inspiring story of Shiuni Sugihara, the great righteous Gentile who was a Chinese diplomat assigned to Kovno, Lithuania during World War II. Despite directives from his superiors in Japan, he bravely issued thousands of visas, saving countless Jewish lives. Even as he left his post for good, he continued to distribute those visas, throwing them out the train window. His courageous actions came at great personal cost, leaving him impoverished and without prospects for restarting his life. A large group of Lithuanian yeshiva students and their families were able to reach Japan and settled in Kobe thanks to these transit visas. Japan, having allied with Nazi Germany, received Joseph Messinger, a Gestapo colonel infamously known as the Butcher of Warsaw, to assist the Japanese allies in implementing Nazi policies. However, the Japanese were uncertain about these policies, and they sought to understand both perspectives. To that end, they invited Rabbanim from Kobe to Tokyo to meet with the heads of the foreign ministry. Dr. Cialdini describes the scene in his book. Just imagine, two bearded, rabbinical-looking rabbis, completely unfamiliar with Japanese culture and worldview, enter to meet with Japanese leaders who also had probably never encountered a Jew. And they definitely had no understanding of Judaism. The mood was very tense, and many lives were on the line. The Japanese minister posed a question to the Rabbanim that Dr. Cialdini describes as unanswerable. Now, to any religious person, regardless of faith, we grapple with difficult questions: the existence of God, why good people suffer. However, the Japanese minister's question was uniquely Jewish and incredibly difficult to answer. Why do the Nazis hate you so much? Why do they hate you so much? The first rabbi froze, as most of us would, unsure of how to respond. The second rabbi, Reb Shimon Kalish, the Amshinover Rav, answered in 7 words. Because we are Asian, just like you. The Japanese delegation met quickly and returned to the rabbis with the following message: go back to your people and tell them we will provide for their safety and peace. You have nothing to fear while in Japanese territory. And so it was. Rabbi Sachs often points out that contrary to popular belief, the counterculture did not begin in the 1960s, but rather thousands of years ago with one man and one woman, Avram and Sarah. They came into a world that worshiped power, a universal idea enshrined in the pyramids, and before that, even in Mesopotamia. Structures that were built to put the universe into perspective. The top represents the king, the emperor, the ruler, while the bottom represents everyone else. The ruler was either considered a god or appointed by God and was responsible for imposing order on earth. As an individual, you were unimportant, merely a means for the ruler to impose his will. Avram and Sarah presented the world with a counterculture. It was not about power, but about a covenant between God and man. Man must do good, help the poor, the widow, and the orphan. Man must forgive, be humble, be part of a community, and build it up so that everybody can live with dignity. Man has to give things up in order to be holy and act in a godly manner. A person's value is not determined by power, wealth, or control of armies, but simply because they are a human being created in the image of God. This belief is radically different than the prevailing belief systems of that time and even today. Judaism's goal has always been to bring heaven to earth, not earth to heaven, as other belief systems promote. These ideas, strongly in Jewish origin, have been met with resistance from various cultures over many centuries. You, the graduating class of Tufshin Pei Daled, came into high school during turbulent times of a world pandemic, and you are graduating to a world that looks very different post-October 7th. You have lived through and witnessed unimaginable events unfolding in Technicolor, and you have been eyewitnesses to virulent anti-Semitism. You certainly have your work cut out for you. But it is these bookends of your high school experience that highlight your incredible potential and your tafkid in continuing in the footsteps of Avram and Sarah, enacting this counterculture. Yes, one person can make a difference. Your job is to be a mensch of the highest order, even in the simple act of saying good morning to the average person that crosses your path. Remember that while the world may seem to worship power and wealth, you have been taught differently. You know that true value comes from Torah, Avoda, and Gemilut Chasadim. You have the ability to help the poor, the widow, and the orphan. You have the strength to build communities where everyone has a place and can live with dignity. Your task Your task is to bring heaven to earth, just as Sarah and Avram did. Act in a godly manner, and remember that your worth is measured by the goodness and humanity within you. As you step into the next chapter of your lives, carry these lessons with you. Be courageous like Shiuni Sugahara. Stand firm in your values. You do have the potential to change lives and continue the legacy of those who came before us. A few weeks ago, you were asked to select a peer to represent your grade at graduation, and you chose 2 young women who truly make a difference. They bring heaven down to earth by living by their values. Though soft-spoken, they demonstrate strong commitment to their beliefs and principles. With no ego, they never seek the spotlight for themselves, always focusing on including others and fostering a sense of community. They embody the idea that one person can make a difference with just a smile. And indeed, that is who these 2 people are. It is my honor and privilege to call upon the Keter Shem Tov awardees, Molly Fuchs and Eliana Zachter. Mazel tov.
Honored principals, Rebbeim, Morot families, and fellow graduates of 2024. I'm sure you'll not be shocked to hear that I'm super nervous to be standing up here speaking in front of all of you. But from what I've learned over the past 4 years at SKA is that pushing myself out of my comfort zone can only lead to positive growth. In this week's Parsha, Parsha Naso, we learned that a Kohen can only give Birkat Kohanim if he has absolute love, ahava, in his heart. At the same time, there are 3 qualities Bnei Israel need to have to receive this bracha: Ahavat Yisrael, Kiddush Hashem, and having a house of Torah. These qualities were passed down to us from Avram Avinu and Moshe Rabbeinu. When Avram told Hashem that he was worried he wouldn't have children, Hashem told him not to worry and to look at the stars in the sky and that they would represent Avram's future children, Bnei Israel. From afar, you can't tell much about a small star, but as you get closer, you can recognize each star's potential, characteristic, and talent, which exemplifies Ahavat Yisrael. When Avram accompanied Yitzchak to the Kedah, they went happily as they were preparing to do a Kiddush Hashem. And when Hashem was preparing Moshe to give the Torah to Bnei Israel, he said to him, Ko tomar lebeit Yaakov. When you speak to the women, impress upon them that they are going to have the responsibility to introduce a love of Torah values in their children and set the proper tone in their homes. When I first started SKA, there were so many girls meeting each other all at once, and it was really overwhelming. But as time went on, we started to recognize special qualities in each other, just as Hashem told Avram would happen. We began to form new friendships, and we're happy to work together. We tried to create an atmosphere of Kiddush Hashem wherever we went and whatever we did. We have absorbed the lifelong lessons and Torah values that we have been taught. When we light the Shabbos candles in our future homes, we will daven for Hashem to always watch over us as individuals and as a united people. I am grateful for receiving this award, but I share it with all the families and friends, teachers and rebbeim who have been my role models throughout the years. May Hashem watch over Tzahal, bring the hostages home now, and give us the real bracha of Shalom. Mazel tov.
As I step onto the stage today, my mind takes me back to the start of our journey together. I remember walking into school wearing a mask, noticing the plexiglass everywhere, and seeing, well, maybe only partially seeing, the new faces of my peers and my teachers. I was a complete wreck. I walked into my first class late. I couldn't figure out which notebooks to use for which classes, and I could not navigate the intricate and confusing corridors of the building. I was terrified of the change and desperately wanted to turn back time and return to middle school. On that momentous first day of high school, and the days following that one, I was afraid. Afraid to adjust to a more rigorous schedule, afraid to get used to new classes and teachers, and afraid to experience new opportunities. However, At the end of each year, I look back with wonder at how I somehow adjusted, and even more, how I pushed myself to take on new challenges and leave my comfort zone to immerse myself in new classes, activities, and experiences. And every step I took, even the small ones, were huge leaps in my journey. But this trek was not mine alone. It was a shared journey with all of you here today. As each of us stood up to our unique challenges, we each grew in our own way, with the help of SKA faculty, our families, and most of all, through the great friendships we made and cherished here in high school. This past Shabbos, we read Parsha Naso. In this Parsha, the Torah lists the offerings which the Nesiim of each Shevet brought to inaugurate the Mizbeach on 12 consecutive days. Each gift brought by every Nasi, starting from Nachshon ben Aminadav of Shevet Yehuda on day 1, and down to Achira ben Enon of Shevet Naphtali on day 12, was exactly identical, from the weight of the silver bowls to the number of cattle and sheep. But curiously, instead of the Torah stating the details of the offerings just one time, and noting that all the Nesiim brought the same items, the Torah spends 6 pasukim for each Nasi for a total of 72 pasukim, repeating the same painstaking details of each sacrifice word for word. Why? Rabbi Yisachar Fran offers a beautiful interpretation for these seemingly excess words and notes that the Torah is teaching us a lesson modeled by the Nesiim. While each Nasi was special in his own right and was specifically mentioned in the Torah for bringing his offering, none of the Nesiim were competitive or attempted to outdo each other with their gifts. While each Nasi had the opportunity to one-up the previous one, when it was their turn on the next day, they chose instead to stay in their lane, so to speak, and to not look to make themselves shine brighter or their peers seem any less than. They all brought the exact same gift and have the inner confidence to be content with that. SKA has fostered an environment for my classmates and me to be just like the Nesiim. From meaningful moments during morning davening, to volleyball and hockey games, from production to model congress, and scappenings to science olympiad, SKA provides opportunities for every girl to tap into their uniqueness and explore their interests. And we, as a class, have certainly taken advantage of that. Just like the Nesiim, our class supports and encourages each other and respects one another. Whether we are quiet or bubbly, athletes or science enthusiasts, dancers or actresses, we have all found our places within the halls, classes, and activities of SKA. We each strive to do our personal best while applauding the accomplishments of our friends. We have discovered our unique ways to individually shine without the need to outshine anyone else. On behalf of myself and my classmates, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the rabbis, administrators, and faculty at SKA for their mesirat nefesh and dedication to all of us. In addition, I want to convey my appreciation to my parents, my grandparents, and my extended family for all you have given me throughout my life and for being incredible role models for commitment to family, Torah, and chesed. A special shout out to my twin sister Talia, who has been my best friend and supporter on every step of our shared journey of life. Love you. I will close with this. I am most grateful to not only call all of you my classmates, but to call you my family. You have all inspired me in so many ways, and you have all helped make these 4 years extremely special. Thank you for being the best family anyone could ever ask for. Mazel tov. Go class of 2024.
Thank you, Molly and Eliana. At this point, I would like to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2024, Shira Ellenberg, to give her valedictorian address.
I am truly honored to be asked to address my classmates at our graduation. A very different graduation than we experienced in middle school just 4 years ago in the middle of a pandemic. A graduation with just our parents in attendance, sitting outside in the heat and separated appropriately. It is amazing to finally be able to celebrate together with all our siblings, grandparents, relatives, and friends. And it will be nice to have a graduation party with more than just our designated bubble. This graduation also feels different on a personal level. In middle school, we were really saying goodbye to a campus, but not to the people. Almost everyone that graduated with me from HALB that day continued together to SKA. Today, however, feels like the end of a journey and the beginning of a new adventure. With that in mind, I would like to take a few moments to reflect on that journey and express Hakarat Hatov to SKA for preparing us for that adventure. In this coming Parsha, Bahaloscha, Bnei Yisrael, who witnessed Har Sinai and built the Mishkan, complain about their food. While surprising, I get it. We definitely learned at SKA that no event, chagiga, or 40-year trip in the desert is complete without catering or at least some coffee and muffins. In response, Moshe complains to Hashem. Am I supposed to be their omain? Am I a nurse or a babysitter here to cater to their every need? Hashem responds by telling Moshe to go to the Ohel Moed with the Shivim Zikanim. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs Zatzal asks, when did Hashem tell Moshe to be a babysitter? And how does taking the Shivim Zikanim solve that? He explains that Moshe was told to be a leader, but he misunderstood the meaning of Jewish leadership. A Jewish leader is not a babysitter responding to every complaint, nor is he a monarch demanding followers to blindly abide by commands. Hashem was telling Moshe that a Jewish leader's role is to inspire and create the next generation of leaders like the Shivim Zikanim. These were the Gedolei Hador, all of whom were a product of Moshe Rabbeinu's leadership. Our Rebbeim, Morot, and teachers have exemplified this form of Jewish leadership. Rather than babysit us like little children or simply dictate to us what to do, they made it their mission to inspire us and to instill the qualities that will allow us to become leaders in our own right. And for that, on behalf of my classmates, I thank you. I would also like to thank my parents, and I'm sure my fellow graduates feel the same. Not only for sending us to such an amazing school, but for everything they do for us. It is because of them that we are all here today celebrating our amazing accomplishments. 4 years ago, we all took our first steps into what would become our home for the next 4 years. They promptly locked up our phones so we can completely focus our attention on our school-provided iPads. SKA has taught us so much. We learned how to use the quadratic formula, name the steps in the Krebs cycle, we understand the nature of Gregor's transformation to a bug in Metamorphosis, all of which I'm very sure are very necessary to function in the adult world and we will use every single day. SKA has also taught us important life skills, like how to figure out which activities will include coffee and muffins, how to access a blocked website on a school-provided iPad, or how it's much easier to ask your questions to ChatGPT than look up your answers in the textbook. But SKA has provided us with something much more valuable and powerful. Looking back to when we started, we came from different communities and different schools. And during our freshman year, we remained pretty distant and isolated, by about 6 feet. But in truth, not even masks and plexiglass could keep us from becoming one. Looking at my fellow classmates, I feel the strong connection each and every one of us have with each other. This bond is the foundation of SKA. The idea of Achdus, with one another, with Klal Yisrael, and with Hashem, is the cornerstone of what SKA is. Achdus is knowing you're a part of something greater, a piece of the whole. Today, my fellow graduates and I are leaving SKA to go out into the world. As we've seen since October 7th, this is a world that is filled with new and frightening challenges. But I know that SKA has prepared us to meet those challenges head on. We have participated in rallies and chesed projects. We embraced our pink days and our purple days. We know how to go out and make our voices heard and try to make an impact beyond the walls of our school. As SKA graduates, we are committed to being active participants in the world around us. We will do our best to turn the ideals of SKA and HALB into action. We won't always succeed, and that is okay. As mentioned recently by Amuna Daly, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, "Nobody is perfect except for those who never try to accomplish anything." So to my fellow graduates, my hope is that we take that to heart. Go out and accomplish great things. Make the world a better place. Build on the foundation that you are given at SKA by your parents and your teachers. And it's all right if you don't succeed, because as we learned at SKA, Achdus means that we will always be there when one of our fellow Jews are in need, likely with a coffee and a muffin. Thank you, and Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Shira. I would like to call upon Mr. Lance Hurt, Chairman of the Board, to call each graduate to receive her diploma. At this point, we'd like to wish Mazel Tov the entire Hurt family on Rachel's graduation. Mr. Hurt will also be joined by Ms. Alana Flamenhoff, Mrs. Shira Englander, and Rabbi Zakatinsky to present diplomas And I'd also like to call upon Mrs. Zahavat Mandelbaum and Mrs. Bonnie Sicklick to present a gift to the graduates on behalf of the Parent Council.
Mazel tov to all of our graduates. I will call each name and we will come up and receive our diplomas. Atara Abrams. Noah Akobus. Miri Aronovitz. Talia Atias. Natalie Avitsedek. Bela Axelrod. Adina Baum. Aurora Beckerman. Adina Chafe. Ariel Cohen. Talia Cohen. Aviva Dashif. Avital Davidowitz. Chloe Dershowitz. Shira Ellenberg. Annabelle Engel. Sarah Earlbaum. Sarah Farkas. Jamie Fader. Eliza Feigenbaum. Mimi Feinberg. Raina Fishman. Alexandra Freundlich. Dina Friedman. Molly Fuchs. Sherry Garber. Chana Gluck. Kayla Goldberg. Shalva Goldberg. Michal Graf. Blair Greenfield. Sari Gross. Shayna Grushko. Ava Hackle. Connie Heimowitz. Yael Hirsch. Rachel Hurt. Julia Holsendler. Shani Iffergan. Lily Isaacs. Yocheved Jacobowitz. Atara Jacobson. Darcy Jaffe. Rena Kamenetsky. Ayala Kashani. Ariel Katz. Kira Kret. Yael Landau. Goldie Leifer. Tamara Lewin. Isabella Lifshitz. Atara Lifshitz. Talia Lipman. Raquel Loiki. Eleanor Malayev. Orly Mark. Ariella Miles. Lizzie Mizrahi. Esther Mizrahi. Elizabeth Naiman. Meira Norensberg. Gabriella Popilski. Abigail Perliski. Kayla Prero. Tamar Rabinovitz. Ruthie Reithman. Maya Rose. Aviva Rosenthal. Atara Sachs. Talia Schechter. Karen Shiowitz. Miriam Schreier. Sarah Schulman. Ilana Schwartz. Shoshana Schwartz. Eliana Shemesh. Perry Sherman. Shani Simento. Adina Spiegel. Leora Skirgal. Eliana Stefanski. Tali Steinberger. Emma Summers. Rebecca Talansky. Aliza Tokayer. Daniela Toplin. Talia Traub. Atarid Saidi. Ali Weiss. Henshi Weiss. Meira Weiss. Maya Willon. Shira Yoshua. Eliana Zactor. Talia Zactor. Mazel tov.
If everyone can please remain in their seats until the conclusion of the program and until the graduates leave, I would now like to call upon Mrs. Sandy Pomerantz to conclude the graduation ceremony.
I would like to wish a hearty mazal tov to the graduating class of 2024. I ask the graduates to stand and turn and face your parents. It is your parents' efforts that has brought you to this point today. Please remain facing them as I officially state that you have completed the requirements for a New York State Regents Diploma as outlined by the New York State Department of Education, as well as for Stella K. Abraham High School Diploma. By the power vested in me by the Board of Regents of New York State and by the Stella K. Abraham High School for Girls, I ask you to move your tassels from right to left. I now proclaim you graduates of the Stella K. Abraham High School for Girls. Everyone, please remain seated while the graduates take their leave. Mazal tov.
Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Hoidu Hashem ki tov, ki li oilam chasdoi. Hoidu Hashem ki tov, ki li oilam chasdoi.
Hoidu Hashem ki tov, ki li oilam chasdoi. Hoidu Hashem ki tov, ki li oilam chasdoi.
Hashem, Apahamoidem Ves Hashem, Apahamoidem Hashem, Gili Yoilam Li'olam Chazdoi. Alles is over! Apahamoidem Ves Hashem, Apahamoidem Ves Hashem, Apahamoidem Hashem, Gili Yoilam Li'olam Chazdoi.
Thank you, Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem.
You may use all four doors to exit the room. There are doors in all four corners of the room you may use to exit out to the tent. Mazel tov.
Hashem, Apahamoide, Es Hashem, Kili Oilam, Li Oilam Chazdoi. Apahamoide, Es Hashem, thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem, Kili Oilam, Li Oilam Chazdoi. Thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem.
Hashem Yitbarach, Toda Rabba Lecha, Hashem Yitbarach, Toda Rabba Lecha, Hashem Yitbarach,
Hashem, תודה רבה לך. Thank you Hashem, תודה רבה לך, השם יתברך. Thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem. Thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem. Thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem. תודה רבה לך.
There are doors in the front of the room. If you want to exit that way, there are 2 doors in the front of the room.
רק ביחד כל עם ישראל